Hello, welcome to our English Language Fellow Application webinar. I'm Robert.
And I'm Thomas.
And we're part of the Applications and Vetting team. We also happen to be former fellows ourselves. I was a fellow in Rwanda.
And I was a fellow in Morocco. Here
we were at the 2019 Fellows Pre-Departure Orientation in Washington, D.C. We look forward to welcoming the 22-23 fellows to DC for the PDO next summer, if conditions permit. In the next several minutes or so, we'll offer our favorite tips for completing the application. Let's begin.
All right, so Robert, let's imagine that I'm an applicant. Can you tell me a little bit more about the application itself?
Of course. First of all, the application opens on September 30th. First, you will want to visit our application portal website as seen here. New applicants will see this page when they want to register to begin the application process. If you have already registered, you will see this page, and you can sign in using your login credentials. Once you have logged into the application portal, you will see options to enter the fellow and the specialist application. Click on the fellow application to proceed. Keep in mind that completing the application is a multi-step process. You'll be asked for details about your educational background and professional experience, as well as a statement of purpose, answers to short essay questions, and other related information. We recommend first reviewing the application instructions on our website at elprograms.org, and then slowly completing the application itself. Remember, you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can work on certain sections and save and return at a later date. Once you've completed and submitted the application, you can track your application's progress through the review process. Most of the application will be self-explanatory, but if you do have questions, you can always email the program at fellow@elprograms.org.
Okay, so it opens in late September. When's the last day to submit an application?
It usually doesn't close until July, when the last of the projects is typically matched. But do note that we have a January 31st priority deadline. Applications submitted by January 31st have the best chance of being considered for all available projects when the matching phase starts in the spring.
Is there anything I need to prepare before starting the application?
You should probably start by getting out your resume or CV and making sure the information is completely up to date. Your resume should include your current position, and submitting a resume that hasn't been updated may delay the review of your application.
Okay, so besides my resume, are there any other documents I'll need?
As a matter of fact, yes. You'll need your conferred graduate level transcript, either official or unofficial. Make sure that the words awarded or conferred appear on your transcript along with the date. Oddly, this information is sometimes missing from unofficial transcripts, so be sure to check. There are more details about the degree and transcript requirements on our website, elprograms.org. Also really important are your references. You want to choose people who know your work and who will be enthusiastic about your application for the program. Also, be sure to contact your references beforehand to ensure they're willing and available to help in this way. Double check that you have their current email addresses. These details are especially important because the review of your application will begin only when your two required references have been received.
Okay, now that I have my documents and references all lined up, what advice can you give me about completing various sections of the application?
The regional preferences section is a good place to start. The application lists 11 regions around the world, and you can choose prefer, open to, or not interested for each region. If you choose not interested to any region, it won't be counted against you, but the more open you are to possible locations, the higher your chances are of being matched.
Are there any locations that I can mark as a preference that would increase my chances of being matched?
Yes. We're always looking for people who are enthusiastic about being matched to places like Russia and Ukraine, in countries in Central Asia and Africa.
I noticed that the professional capabilities area requires a lot of detail. Any tips for filling this in?
This is a really important section. We often go directly here to find people with specific backgrounds. This is your chance to add details of your professional work that may not be on your resume, the types of classes you've taught, specific areas of expertise, and unique accomplishments.
What if my experience is primarily K through 12?
Many fellow projects involve working with K-12 teachers, both pre and in service, and your K-12 experience may make you a good match. Pay special attention to the teacher training category. While teacher training experience isn't an eligibility requirement, it is one of the program's preferred qualifications. Almost all projects have some teacher training element to them, from teaching undergraduate methodology classes to presenting workshops at conferences.
So when you say teacher training, what does that include?
This refers to both formal and informal contexts, such as part of an MA program, certification program, Peace Corps work, working with student teachers, mentoring, or conducting informal workshops at your school. Teacher training experience comes in a variety of forms, all have relevance and are important to your application. Also, be sure to check yes if you have experience in either ESP or EAP. With ESP, or English for Specific Purposes, make sure you specify the topic area, such as journalism, tourism, engineering, or business, to name a few. We always have a few projects that focus on EAP, English for Academic Purposes. And if you have experience with research writing, writing for publication, or writing centers, you should definitely fill in this section. We've also seen an increase in projects involving CBI, content-based instruction, and EMI, English as a medium of instruction. One in particular is STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math, both at the K-12 and the higher education level. So don't forget to mention if you have experience in STEM or teaching any other content areas in the target language of English.
Oof, a lot of things have changed since the last in-person PDO, especially in regards to educational trends. Should I highlight any of my virtual experiences?
Great point, Thomas. We are interested in any online teaching experience or instructional technology skills you've accumulated over your career, especially over the past year. This could include such things as revamping teaching strategies, creating materials, or using online instructional tools.
What if I have other experience that's not listed in professional capabilities?
Well, there's an other category, and you can add additional information there. You might want to use this section to talk about serving on your ESL department's curriculum development committee, completing a needs assessment project, or leading extracurricular activities. This is a good opportunity to showcase experience within intercultural contexts. Fellows require a great deal of flexibility and adaptability, and we found that successful candidates often have experience working with other cultures or language groups both and in the US. Among these experiences are activities like volunteer work, teaching with vulnerable populations like refugee resettlement or immigrant work programs, or hosting international students.
Now, I've submitted my application. What's the next step?
If you meet all the eligibility requirements and all the sections of your application are complete, you'd be for an interview by Zoom or another video conferencing app, or by phone as a last case scenario. Keep in mind that the interviewer has already read your application carefully, so during the interview, you want to go into greater detail and supply new examples. This is a chance to really sell yourself, focusing on your unique achievements.
Robert, if you had just one last tip for our viewers, what would it be?
Well, I think this one is really important. I'd say really focusing on your professional experience and professional capabilities. These are key to matching, making sure they support each other and connect with what's on your resume. How about you, Thomas? What one tip would you like to finish with?
It may sound trivial, but please proofread. I know you said one, Robert, but as they say, teachers sometimes could be the worst students. So also, I would say to have an extra pair of eyes take a look at your application, whether it's a colleague, a family member, or a friend.
Yes, I think that's a great one to finish with. Well, we hope that you found this webinar to be helpful. Being an English language fellow is a richly rewarding experience, and all the time you spend on your application will be worth it if you're selected. Good luck.
And remember, you can always email the program staff at fellow@elprograms.org. And two, follow us on our social media platforms.